Hello everyone, for the second time today, I went to that way, not that way. Second time today on my channel, I'm going live. The reason I'm going live now is because we have a special, let's say random episode of Quiz Your Biz. I was meant to be going live with somebody else. They cancelled on me 10 minutes before we were meant to be going live. I rushed to find somebody else. But then also doing all that, I realised I didn't advertise the fact I was doing Quiz Your Biz tonight. So here we go. This is a special episode, yeah. Sorry that I didn't promote it. I will make sure I promote it next time. I'm just going to wait for the guests to see if they're live, which I can see that they are. So, welcome to Quiz Biz, the weekly show where we quiz someone and find out all about their experience and business. As always, it's not just about the people that see this, but the people that might know and their personal network. So this week, I'm not going to say I'm interviewing. I'm going to let them come on the camera and introduce themselves as I always do. So, if you want to catch up on any other videos that we've done previously, head over to quizyourbiz.com or the Facebook page. They're all there. So let's see if I can get a guest on. Let's try this. Let's see if it works. I can't put my hand over my. Has anyone got an iPhone? If I put my hand over my camera, it makes my screen go black. It's random, isn't it? So I've still got to lift my hand up. All right. So add. Let's see if this works. It's adding. It is adding. Hello.
It worked.
It's worked. It is worked. I'm always nervous this isn't going to work, but it always does so far.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
for anybody who doesn't know who you are and what you do you want to introduce yourself to the world?
Yeah, I'll do that magic. And I'm glad I was able to finish my pasta bake just in time. I'm Steve. I'm Steve Knapp. And I call myself the sales mindset coach. How about that one?
So obviously it's pretty obvious what you do, but for people who don't sort of know what that is, what do you do for people? What do you do?
What do I do? Yeah, so I guess I help smaller businesses. What I do, I help smaller businesses gain confidence and overcome their stigmas, their blockages about sales, basically, you know.
Okay. And how do you help them do that? Sort of what support? How do you support them, if that makes sense? In what way do you do it?
Yeah. So lots of good vibes, you know, lots of good luck. But actually, a lot of it's through social media. I'm quite heavily active on Facebook, Facebook group, Facebook page, Facebook group, Instagram, out on Twitter. So a lot of that website, you know. So there's a lot of social and community stuff that I help, and then out on the, you know, the circuit, talking at networking events. Yeah.
Because you have a Facebook group, don't you? I believe I'm part of it.
I do.
Yes. So what goes on in your Facebook group? What makes somebody go there who's listening? Why should they go to your group?
Yeah, great question. I thought about this long and hard because you can get these things quite wrong, can't you?
Yeah.
So a lot of it is to do with the value add and the experience and insight that I bring along. Follow a bit of a program. So we go through a methodology that I have that all the things that I've learned are important to sales, and use things like TV shows. I do a sales mindset coach TV show every Wednesday. Pick a subject, and pretty much like you're doing here, you know, go live, welcome questions, put out things like blogs, questions and answers through the week. So quite a bit of stuff out there really that just helps that smaller business that doesn't have you know, resources or access to some of the speciality or you know, experiences that you can bring along. Yeah.
Okay, so definitely worth checking out, and I'll make sure that somebody puts a link into the comments once we're off air so everyone can go and join the group. So yeah. Oh, nice. So what actually made you start doing this? Why did you start? What made you start? Do it for yourself.
You might not be able, you might not be able to see the colour of my hair, but it is more grey than natural. So I had a career before I started this, and I worked in corporate sales. Gosh, for many years. I did that internationally and domestically. And then, like a lot of things in big corporates, there was almost like the time when the Grim Reaper was coming around, and my number was up. And I sort of thought to myself, well, yeah, it'd be really great to retire now, but I couldn't afford to. so I actually decided to follow what has been the thing that made me happier in work the most, and that was around sales.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go back out to be a rep, because I've had that career. So I thought this sales coaching piece was a place that I could add some value back. And that's what I've done, and I've been doing that for just over a year only now. But it's really been a developed offer, and it's really become quite personal to me, about helping small businesses succeed in sales. So yeah, it was because I was made redundant.
But they always say, don't they, some things lead to better things, even if it's bad at the time, which you're clearly an example. So does that mean because you've been set up for a year now, does that mean you've got something big or anything new launching soon, or in the line, or something that we should look out for?
I'd love you to. Yeah, I mean, I just literally, it's not finished. There is still enter text here website that I launched, because we're nearly ready. But there's a new website which is a great place, and that's salesmindsetcoach.com. But within that, I am launching an online learning tool program called the Sales Accelerator, and it's giving business owners the opportunity to be able to learn at their own pace, following the methodology that I use. Yeah.
That sounds good. I know that would be a help to a lot of people, because I know that some people like to learn at their own pace. Everyone likes to learn a little bit different. So that's something exciting. So have you, because obviously you help people out, have you got a customer journey or sort of a story that stands out for you about a customer where you got them from A to B? What highlights in your head?
Yeah. Gosh, and I tell you, having not had the preparation, this is really testing my mettle. But I think one of the, and let's focus in on what I do now. I mean, I've helped a lot of new startups really put sales into their strategy, right? So what I find happens is that businesses set up a business plan which talks about how we're going to market, how we're going to build our center of expertise, how we're going to generate leads. But if you look at that business plan, it very rarely has in it what's going to be our sales approach. What's going to be how we go about selling. And I've helped, I won't name them because they'll probably watch this, but a couple of startups that were really struggling in this first year about how they put sales at the heart of their business strategy. And simple things like network where your prospects are, know that everybody isn't a prospect. You've got a world of suspects, but let's really identify your ideal prospect. And whilst these might be pretty straightforward things to many folks listening on the watching on the call, for some people new to business, these are very important things that you can help them with. And it saves them a lot of anxiety and a lot of time if they can tap into some of those best practices. So probably a couple of companies that I've helped along the line there with those what might be perceived as straightforward things, but actually value adding things.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know when I set up business, I do social media marketing. So marketing I was amazing at. Everything other than marketing I didn't have a clue about. And as a business owner, you need to make sure you get the advice where it's given, and definitely.
I mean, why would you know, right? I mean,
exactly.
That's the thing. Yeah. I would say to people, value your ecosystem, right? Value all the help you can get that's out there. Yeah.
There is a lot of help out there, because it's the same than I didn't really know about invoices and tax returns and all that. So I had to learn it for myself, and it's the same with people I work with. They're amazing at running their businesses, but it comes to Facebook and they don't have a clue. So definitely get the help out there when it's needed, and it's nice to see that other business owners are helping other business owners, which you do as well. So if you were to restart your business, or if you were to go back to your past when you started off, what one piece of advice would you give yourself?
I put this in a blog, so this is an easy one. because there's a lot of reflection when you set up on your own, right?
Yeah.
After having 30 years in somewhere that was pretty safe and was almost like a different language. It was your life. Then you go out on your own, and actually, the one piece of advice I would give to anybody is don't underestimate the value in networking. Not only because this part about building a community, really feeling part of, you know, some kind of economy, as an example. So I'm around Sheffield, so it's really important being part of a broader community. So you've got your teamwork coming in there. It gives you a chance to stay close to your marketplace, because you're talking to people, you're bouncing ideas off, and you know, I think it just helps you with your pitch. You know, you actually can practice it and get it wrong, and then when you go to your clients, you get it right. So you know, in the corporate world, I didn't need to network because the brand that I had behind me did it all for me.
All for you,
yeah. So the networking would be the one that I would say, you know, really double down on.
I agree with that as well. I didn't do networking for the first 12 months of my business. As soon as I did it, I've got my biggest client from it, so I can't complain on that one. Obviously you've given lots of advice and tips already in this, but if you had to pick 3 tips, your 3 best tips for people, what would they be? Just your 3 best ones.
Yeah, I mean, the issue with sales is there's no silver bullets, right? It is a process. But I would say the first one is have a sales process. You know, so know where you're strong, know where you're weak, know where you need to develop. So you have a sales process. The second one, I would say, and I'll do that the right way around. The second one,
I did that as well.
Is the second one is really know who your ideal prospect is, because you can waste a lot of time and a lot of money going after stuff that isn't relevant. And then the third one comes into one of the basics of sales, but and sadly something that many businesses and salespeople don't do: follow up with prospects. Because there is some statistics out there, and you know, I love statistics. The more people get to know me, but something like 50% of sellers don't follow up with prospects, right? So we go to all that aggro to have a sales process, work out where they are, and then you don't follow up. And I just don't get that. So they would be the first 3 things that come to my mind.
That's good. I definitely agree with the second one, because one of the sayings that I use for my clients is not everybody is your potential customer. Not every single person is your target audience, and you have to get specific with it, and you have to know who they are, because if you shoot at everybody, you're going to miss more people than if you aim, and that's a simple thing there. So what I'll do now, actually I've got one more question, but before I ask that, if everybody gets their questions in now, I'll ask them after this. It's a bit off topic. It's not quite a business question, but it gets people thinking, and I like the question a lot. I did it with Duncan Price last time, and he gave me such a good answer. If you had to pick an animal, what animal would you pick to be, and why?
Duncan Price is there. Well, he's probably going to do better than me then. So
he went really in depth with his answer, really in depth.
Oh right. Okay. Well, I'll probably be a bit more superficial then. So I was lucky enough to live in Africa for a number of years, and was able to go around a lot of the game drives and all the parks out there. So my favourite animal comes out of that experience, and actually it's an ostrich.
Okay.
And really, because they're evil bastards. They are really vicious. And you know, they sort of all unassuming, but then they really go for you, you know. So I think that's the point.
That is a good answer. It's a good answer. I like having the reason, because when I always used to get asked that question, I always used to say a lion, and that's because they're also ginger. That's literally my reason. So yeah. Right. All right, we've got some questions. So Connor said hi. Dan shared your group already, so hopefully people are going across your group.
Thank you very much.
Dan Tilson said, do you follow a standard sales process funnel, or is it different for every business and industry?
It's a really good question. It's a really good question, because there are a lot of sales processes out there.
Yeah.
And actually, in essence, they're all doing one of the same thing, aren't they? They're actually funneling sales leads to close. What I do, you said the question was from Dan. What I do, Dan, is I break that process down for me to something that's relevant, which is seven steps. And it starts with suspect, it goes to prospect, then goes to analyze, then negotiate, then let's try and close some deals, let's take an order, and let's receive payment. So I go 7 steps, but I do know in some smaller businesses, that's overkill. So at the back end, you might condense that. Some customers might not choose to go through that whole process in a nice, neat, orderly fashion. So let's let them. But you know, I have a structure, and the reason I break it down that much is just so we can identify where you have strengths and where you have gaps. Because if we're finding that actually what you're doing is you got loads of opportunities in the phase about analyze, but then as soon as you come to negotiate, you're just doing your dough, if you like. We'll make sure that we focus effort to help you get better at that step. So the smaller the sales process, I think the less chance to learn from it. But I do understand it needs to be relevant for your business, you know.
That's a good answer. It's similar to what I do. I follow the same sort of thing, but you tailor it, don't you, to each business, and each person is tailored to a little bit. So Dan said again, question from a share from William. Always been interested in the concept of sales coaches. If you are that good, go sell some stuff and make a fortune rather than scraping around looking for small businesses to get a couple £100 out of using 40-year sales spin.
Yeah, nice. Actually, I did make a fortune for 30 years, which is why I can afford to do what I'm doing. So this is my giving back piece. I actually run a sales consultancy. I'm actually a sales director with the Association of Professional Sales. But what I choose to do is promote very much the sales mindset coach that helps smaller businesses. So there's broader work that I do, but I'm very clear that what I've seen in the networks and the areas that I operate in, smaller businesses could be vastly more successful if they have people like me that are prepared to give back. So that's why I do it. 30 years of sales experience has given me a very, very nice life, and I'm able to choose what I do.
Nice. Connor said that told William, and I think I completely agree with you. That has told him. That certainly told him.
Well, there's the ostrich.
There you go. See, we've seen why you chose your spirit animal straight away. Loving it. Simon said, came in at the wrong moment. You hit more people. Oh yeah, Simon must have come in when I said you hit more people if you aim than if you just shoot randomly. I'm not going to plan to shoot anybody. It's just a figure of speech. So any more questions quickly before we get going? Because it's been a great interview and there's been a lot of tips in there. And make sure you watch back and write down the tips a lot, because there's been a lot. I normally ask for 3 tips, but I think we've had 5 or 6 at least. And make sure you join Steve's group as well, which is in the comments somewhere. It's disappeared off my computer, but it is in the comments. So if we've not got any more questions, easy enough. Oh, so we've got one more question. Simon said, do you think giving back before you try to sell is also a good idea? So give lots of info for free before selling.
This is a question that's really probably more relevant now, I think, than back when I started selling. And actually, the answer would have been, hell no, you give nothing away, right?
Yeah.
Because there was a thing called the internet that wasn't in existence.
Yeah.
So actually, I think the point is, buyers research much more now than they ever did. Yeah. In fact, I told you I like statistics. Salesforce.com say there's about 90% of decisions begin online. Think about you as a consumer. You do far much more research than you ever did. And actually, 60% of buyers invite you in when they've almost made a decision, right? And that's because they're researching you. So if you're not putting free content out there, actually, you're not being part of that 60%. So I think you have to do it now. I don't think you have a choice.
Yeah. I think with social media as well, it's easier to give something away for free anyway, because social media is there to give content, and the way you get your audience coming back is giving that value in it. It can be a simple tip like you've given today. That's still that free bit of information, what's going to be given out, which, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
What else have we got? Connor said, what was your favourite thing to sell?
Well, actually, it's going to sound a bit twee, but it was selling solutions. It was selling real value.
Okay.
And I was really lucky back in the day. I lived in Johannesburg, and we used to sell lubricants to the big mines. And I remember this one client. They kept getting these engines that were blowing up, and this costing them like 10 million rand every time, million quid. And I was able to help them with a better product that solved a massive problem, and it felt really good.
Yeah.
So actually, I don't think it matters what you're selling. I think it's where's your sort of mindset around it. And my mindset was always about that creating value and solving problems. Yeah. So I probably answer it in that way.
Nice. One more. I think we've got one more question. Yeah. Dan said again, as a sales coach, do you think you should increase your prices until at least some people start to say you're too expensive? I was quoted 40%. Should say no before you stop increasing, which sounds extreme to me.
Yeah, I mean, pricing is a market-driven thing, really. I think there's what they call price elasticity. So there is so much that you can push it before customers start to stop buying. And I think it's the job of a business to push the elasticity as far as you can. And whilst you're adding value, right? So you can't become unrealistic. You can't become detached from the market. But I think if you've got different products in your range that you're selling, then you've got differentiation down from core to premium. And I think pushing the boundaries of each of those is what you should do as a seller. And a sales coach will probably just help you with the right positioning, the right questions, maybe some of the right thinking behind them. But you in your own market will be the one that will be pushing the boundaries of price, because it is attached to your personal credibility, your brand, your knowledge, and the value that you add, you know?
Okay. Great answer. I think that helps a lot. And I've just seen if any more questions come in. No more questions coming yet, so I think we'll call it a wrap there. This interview's been great. There's been just advice for me alone. It's been amazing. It's been great to speak to you, let alone everybody else watching. And I need to make sure that if you're watching now, that you watch the whole of this interview. Because like I said, there is multiple bits of advice throughout the interview. So I'm going to call it a wrap there, I think, with you, Steve. I will let you get going and enjoy the rest of your evening. And then I will wrap up the interview after you've gone as well. If that's okay with you. So if you click the little, I don't know what button it is. I can't remember which one it is now.
I've done it.
That one, yeah. All right, see you later. There goes, guys. Oh, question from Gary above. Oh, Dan, the question didn't come through my end. Sorry, my bad. Right, that was Steve, who is given so many tips there. I asked for 3 pieces of advice. He's given about 6 or 7. Make sure you watch the whole of this interview to see them all. Make sure you also join his group, which should be in the comment. It's one of the first comments by Dan Tilson. And I think that's it. So yeah, thank you for joining me and Steve on Quiz Your Biz. Oh no, that's the bit of it. Quiz Your Biz. Make sure you go across to the website to check out all the interviews we've done at quizyourbiz.com, or check out the Facebook page, which I'll also link in the comments below. I'll get Dan Tilson to do it, because Dan does all the little bits I don't like to do. There you go, he's done it already. So that's it from me. I'm rambling again. I will speak to everybody later on. And